This is Father Andrew Ritchie, and you're listening to Catholic Inspiration, a podcast from my website at studyprayserve.com. These homilies, presentations, and retreats form part of my ministry as a Catholic priest for the Diocese of Superior. And now I invite you to open your hearts to some Catholic inspiration. Today is the sixth day in the octave of Christmas. Our gospel reading is Luke chapter 2, verses 36 to 40. There was a prophetess, Anna, the daughter of Phanuel of the tribe of Asher. She was advanced in years, having lived 7 years with her husband after her marriage, and then as a widow until she was 84. She never left the temple, but worshipped night and day with fasting and prayer. And coming forward at that very time, she gave thanks to God and spoke about the child to all who were awaiting the redemption of Jerusalem. When they had fulfilled all the prescriptions of the law of the Lord, they returned to Galilee, to their own town of Nazareth. The child grew and became strong, filled with wisdom, and the favor of God was upon him. I love this gospel passage because it just gives us this little one-line glimpse of life in Nazareth, where Jesus is going to grow up. His hometown, if you will, the space and place where, for the most part, this is the little tiny community that he will call home until his baptism by John the Baptist in the Jordan River, and then subsequently his earthly ministry, saving death and resurrection, ascension into heaven. Nazareth, that quiet time, a time we know very, very little about. Now, I've had the privilege to visit Nazareth on a few occasions. I've had the chance to pray and offer Mass there, and to think about this little village where Jesus will grow up. And the part that I want to just hold on here is, he grew, became strong, filled with wisdom. You know, it's interesting that much of life is lived in the little things. Much of life happens in those spaces where there's not a lot that happens. We're steadily either getting better or getting worse. We're steadily either getting stronger or getting weaker. And here what we see is this quiet time of growth, where Jesus, from a child to becoming a man. Again, we know very little about the space, very little about this time, very little about what actually happened. What we know is that from this point until the Lord emerges on the scene in his earthly ministry, he's being prepared. Joseph, Mary, his work, his own teaching, schooling, learning. It's quiet growth, but it's solid, becoming strong, filled with wisdom. And friends, that's our takeaway today. That we too, in the quiet moments, are seeking to become stronger, wiser in our faith, in our health, in our bodies, minds, hearts, souls, that we are growing ever more as the sons and daughters of God. Now think about this. We've been given the gift of life. And one day we're going to stand before the Lord, and the Lord's going to want to know, what did we do with the gift we were given? He's going to want to ask, how did we live it? How did we take the blessings, and how did we develop them, foster them, encourage them, nurture them? How did we grow? How did we grow so that we can say, when we stand before the Lord, that I lived the gift that you gave me. I offered the gift of my life that you bestowed upon me. Lord, I grew stronger with the opportunities present before me. I took the gift as it came to live it and share it for you. I say that because when we take the time to look at what Jesus did and follow the Lord's example, follow what the Lord has demonstrated for us, friends, then that means that every day we have opportunities to grow in grace, in faith, in wisdom. We have opportunities to grow closer to the Lord and to one another, to never take for granted the gift of life and the gift of faith, but rather to say, Lord, how do I grow in grace? How do I grow closer to you, to the people you've set before me? Lord, how do I more fully develop the talents, the gifts, the opportunities you've given me? Lord, how can I make flourish what I have today? Because, Lord, I invite you in to my heart, my life, to touch and bless, to nurture and encourage. And then, Lord, help me to see it and help me to put my life's energy toward it. We're kind of getting close to the end of the year, and those New Year's resolutions, oftentimes people start to think about, I ought to make a change. How do we want to grow in the coming year? How do we want to grow in faith, hope, and love? How do we want to grow in our love for Jesus? How do we want to grow closer to the people in our life? And friends, how do we want to grow to become stronger, filled with wisdom, living the gift that God has given us to its fullest potential? We pray on that. We reflect on that. And if we say, I'm going to turn the page on the year 2025, and as I look to beginning a new year, Lord, I call upon you to help me to grow. God bless you all. This is Father Andrew, and I hope this podcast inspires your faith. Now, if you found it helpful, please share it with a friend. And you can help me by leaving a rating and a review. I keep all my listeners in my daily prayers, and I ask for your prayers in return. God bless you, my friends.